Welcome back to the Pilates Exchange. We are back from FIBO, which is the Fitness and Bodybuilding convention, the largest in Europe at least. And it was a crazy few days. I'm back with Christian Teutcher, my husband, and the other host of this podcast. Hi, Chris.
Hello, I'm back again. How's everyone doing out there?
We are a bit exhausted. We had a wonderful week. We got to go to Cologne a little bit early, took some classes, visited some other studios, and just sort of got to put down our teacher hat for a bit and just be a student, which is really great. Made some new, let's say, contacts, people that know us through social media, and got to meet them in person, which was a lot of fun. So that's shout out to Roger. That was great to meet you in person. Um, yes. And then the big reason that we were in Cologne was to go to this huge convention. I don't even know where to start.
It's a long, it was a very long day. We've been walking there from the hotel and walking back, I guess in total was like kind of 12 kilometers or
At
eight,
least.
8.5, 9 kilometers within the FIBO, and took a little pause in between, little lunch pause, which was nice just to sit down. And I must say this year, like we talked in the recent podcast, that we were so overwhelmed with this space and how big everything is. This time I try to prepare myself a little bit more, because when you go into the FIBO, you see hall one, go hall four, hall six, hall seven, but you don't know what is in the hall. So I made myself some little papers and wrote down. I went on the website, wrote down which is going on, what is going on in each hall. So we had like a little kind of I don't want to say not a schedule, or like kind of an idea where to go. Of course, we were stuck in, or went to this one hall where the equipment went quite long for a long time and went back. So that was probably our main area. I guess
Yes.
it was hall one.
Hall one. So just
Yes.
to give you an idea, each of these halls is like the size of a football field, and each of the different halls has a different sort of like a theme that's in there. So the halls that we didn't spend a lot of time in are the supplements and that kind of thing. That's just not our jam. But they're so what happens is all these different companies get together and they present at the FIBO, and it's a great marketing platform and for people to kind of discover different trends. The first 2 days of FIBO is the professional side of it, so you have to be somehow related to the business in order to be able to be let in. And since we have a studio, that's not a problem. And then the last 2 days, which we were definitely not there for, we were only there one day to this time. The last 2 days is then open to the general public. So so there's the bodybuilding part of it, also not our jam. We did look in a little bit. Nothing against it. It's just not where we spend our time and what we're going to be doing with the studio. So this year we didn't go too far in it. High Rocks was represented. I'm sure everyone is familiar with that type of that brand. So they were having also a High Rock. I don't even know what it's called. High Rocks Games. They're going to be doing something
Eh,
there.
maybe
So
maybe let's call it event.
they're having a yeah. I don't know too much about it honestly, but some of the athletes were walking around there, which was interesting. Um, and then there are other halls that if you were building a studio or a fitness, a club where they would have everything that you could possibly want for that club. So everything from like lockers to gym equipment and like free weights, every little gadget that you could possibly need, you could also purchase there. The where we spent the most time was just in it. It wasn't a Pilates hall, but it's like the lifestyle and wellness area. So we did spend a lot of time over there meeting new people and taking a look at what the trends are. And that is why we're doing this podcast, to explain to you what we saw, what we think is upcoming, and all the craziness. What was your impression, Chris, of let's say, hall one with all the Pilates stuff?
Yeah, and in the whole one, of course, there was any kind of different Pilates, kind of like chair. you name it was there. Different kind of brands, the bigger version, the smaller version, the one with screen, the one with electric things, whatever you want. But I saw a lot of recovery stuff and longevity things. Like there were people sitting there that had a red light mask on. They were sitting in a chair and they had this, I don't know what it is, like this compression
Hmm.
pants. Is
Yep.
it compression pants they had on? I think it's all about recovery. and what else was there? Of course, cold plunge things. So there's like a big massive bucket you could sit in, and it cools the temperature down to however you want it.
Yeah.
And
So
the
where they had two different types of let's say cold therapy. One was the cold plunge sort of arena, and there was many different manufacturers of different types of cold plunges, and then the other one I would say was, how do you even pronounce that, cryotherapy, where it is a like a little room, like the total opposite of a sauna. There were saunas represented as well, but where they in this they cool your temperature down in this little
I think
room.
it's a cold chamber, I
Cold
think.
chamber, lots of cold chambers. Yeah.
Yeah, this this
So
is
that
what
was
they had, like a
interesting.
mini, yeah, a mini version you could have at home. Because there was like, was it last year we saw it also, but there were just less of them and they were bigger, because mainly like big gyms had this ones, if I remember right. And this year they had smaller ones. You can, if you want, put an infrared sauna, for example, and a cold chamber there and a cold plunge on your balcony, whatever you feel like. So it's like kind of, they made it probably accessible for everyone, not only for big brands.
Yeah.
So if you don't
So
have so much
it's sort of an
space,
interesting mix of like personal use stuff. I would say almost everyone had a different product for personal use, and then for in industry use. So where you would have more people going in and out. And Chris is right that there was a big focus on longevity. So the trends that were there were, things that you've probably been listening to, like on the Huberman Lab, and basically any publication has been looking into heat therapy. So like saunas, cold plunge, cold therapy, red light, all those things were very highly represented as far as outside of our Pilates modality. Um, Interesting stuff. I don't know if every studio really needs to be doing it. Honestly, like our podcast is for Pilates teachers and studio owners. Yeah, I mean it's outside of what we normally would have in our studio, so it's like I don't know.
yeah, that was also one interest. I remember last year there were a lot of massage chairs
Yes.
there, and this year I haven't seen as many. Maybe I was just, so there was still there, so people were completely zoned out in trying out this massage chairs with the blanket on, and they were probably done towards the end of the day. Everyone was just wanted to relax.
Yeah.
That was really really interesting to see, but we haven't tried out. And I remember last year so there was less with massage. But I saw one thing which was funny. You know this foam roller, and then there was like a mini foam roller and had like some kind of, I don't know, wheels or something. So it was, you were just sitting down with long legs, and it was massage. It was moving up the backside of your leg by itself.
Yeah, I was okay. So you have to
Was it?
imagine. So as we're seeing, like how
Yeah,
robotics start to get integrated into technology, and I do have some tech stuff that I would love to explain what we saw. But this one was really funny because we're like, "What was that?" So it looked like a foam roller, but was somehow robotic, and the people were lying down on the floor, and this foam roller was rolling underneath them. So they were just lying down, not doing anything, but totally passive. And the roller was going underneath their body and rolling all the way up and all the way down. Yeah, we didn't try that out,
it looked.
but it was really crazy.
Yeah, it looked a little creepy, like one of the creature is just trying to and slowly walk up your leg. Some
Yeah.
was interesting. We haven't tried it because I was already busy with so many people there,
Yeah.
so we just
And
went.
I do like to embrace tech, but I'm also a little bit wary of some things. So, but that was interesting. We did see Chris mentioned it. I do want to move over to the side where you guys are listening to is like what in the world is happening in the Pilates industry. So let's go into that. Um, we did see a big boom. Last year, I said that there was a lot of Pilates. It doesn't even compare to what we saw this year. Um, Crazy. We saw, um, I mean, we didn't count, but maybe like 50 different manufacturers of reformers.
Yeah, at this time it was interesting where, because like you said, normally they have in these different halls, they have different sections to give them a kind of a category. And we were like in the wellness, physical therapy, and fitness equipment section. And then normally there you see a reformer Cadillac and stuff like that. But then also in the other halls where it's just dedicated only to fitness brands and fitness gym equipment, you all of a sudden saw in that brand last year they didn't have a reformer, and all of a sudden there was like a reformer there. It was like, did we run in circles in the same hall? Or so, like you
It,
said, it's crazy how many different kind of reformers. I tried to take a video of each of them, and now I have, or the both of us, we probably have like 25 to 30, 35 different kind of videos of different reformers.
well, maybe we'll put them together like little clippets of a reel. And we didn't film everything. Like there was just no room and no time. And it was all centered on the reformer. We know that there's a reformer boom right now. There was very little outside of that Pilates equipment. So very few Cadillac, very few chair. There was a couple, but it was really almost every manufacturer of gym equipment, regardless of what they are normally into, bodybuilding, whatever gym, normal gym equipment, they now have a reformer on the market. That brings up so many interesting questions for myself of where is this going to? Like, who are they marketing to? Um, are they just going to put it out into the gym, into the gym space and no teacher there? What does that mean for us as Pilates studio owners? Another a big thing that we saw is there's a couple companies now with let's say on demand Peloton style, but not Peloton um, reformers, so that the class is then on a screen that is attached to the reformer, and you could do your Pilates workout while watching the screen. Also, a very interesting concept just to talk about it because it's out there, so we gotta be looking at it and talking about what it means to our industry.
Yeah, I think they're trying to invent the reformer in the 22nd century. We had a look at one. You couldn't see the springs. The springs were on the inside, just on the outside. You were adjusting the resistance, and a screen was attached to it, and it looked like a little bit a reformer from outer space. I mean, still like kind of a reformer. That was interesting. I think now what they're trying to do is make it accessible for everyone. So maybe you don't need a teacher if you have, because people I think they might don't want to go to the gym anymore because they don't want to spend their time going to gym going back, or spending time on a kind of channels, whatever you want to name them. So they want to make it I think accessible for the home equipment, so for the home gym. So you have a reform at home with the screen, and then you just jump on and on when you want, so like on demand.
Right, but like I want to a little bit push back on it because we say that they're making it acceptable, and like the one I know exactly which one you're talking about, it was ridiculously expensive. Like it wasn't, accessibility. Like though, if you're in that category of being able to put that much money out, you could probably just hire a personal trainer for a longer time. And that particular one, again, no, we are not going to name any brands. That one was really interesting because. The representative that we're talking about, did a little bit of fear mongering, which is going a bit more rampant in our field of like, this is so much safer because the springs aren't going to jump out and hit you in the face. And I was thinking, like, how in the world would springs be jumping out and hitting you in the face unless you are not training with a qualified trainer? Like, that's the only. So, yes and no. Like, that's not.
They're trying to
Yeah,
make it safer for unqualified trainers.
thank you. Yes.
Maybe so everyone can use it. So you don't need an education to
No.
train on the reformer with the reformer.
Right.
So
But
they
it's
can
still.
reach a wider audience. Sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
but but they say accessible, and I say that's, I don't know how much more accessible. I don't know. I don't think that's the right word for what's happening right now. I think it's populated. I don't know. We'll have to look for a different word for it. Like to the masses, populated. You can find it in the gym. You don't have to go into the studio space to do it. But it does. I think. I don't. Again, I don't have any. I don't have any real data in front of me, and that's what what we should be demanding from our organizations that are supposedly, supporting us. The Pilates organizations that are in the world that are taking our money to support Pilates studios need to step up and start doing some real data collecting about what do injuries actually look like in the Pilates studio. How much is this really happening? What does it compare into other types of modalities and stuff? Because there was even a recent article that was total fear mongering, and I'm not sure about how much of it is actually based in reality. So that goes back to this. This representative is like, oh, it's so much safer to do it like this. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't know. Like, I'm all for getting people to move, but that's the wrong reason to be selling it.
No, no, I think also that we are not the audience. It doesn't speak to us. To other people, they see the trend and they maybe want to have it the exclusivity and have it at home, and maybe it's for them. And then sometimes I'm like, people jumping on things to make more money with it.
Oh yeah.
The reform. So like sometimes I'm just doing a little going back and to a little tough to a topic and I come back. Sometimes there's the same thing with coffee. They realized they couldn't make any money with filter coffee, so they invented these capsules. They invented all these things, so you pay for the same product more because it just shaped it in a different way, kind of named it in a different way, and everyone's like, oh, I've never seen this before, but actually it's the same as coffee. A filter coffee, just put in a plastic thing and then you put it in the machine. Nothing against it, I don't want to say it's bad, but it's just what the industry realized, that you can make much more money with things where you just change it, make it more accessible, make it look interesting, make it look fancy, make it look spaced out or whatever, you name it. And I think this is kind of what I find interesting, and I'm already curious, I know, what's going on next year,
Oh, I know. I
where
can't
the
wait to.
trend is going to go, and then
Yeah.
maybe we don't have any reformers ever. Then we only have stability chairs, or everyone's to have a Cadillac, and then
Oh.
it's also
Let's talk about behind the scenes of running your Pilates business. If managing your studio feels like a balancing act, it's time to check out our sponsor, Offering Tree. This all in one business platform handles website building, bookings, client management, and marketing workflows to help you add and retain more clients. Book a demo or try it free today using the link in the show notes to see how Offering Tree can transform your studio operations. Studio plans start at $100 a month and include an exclusive, supportive studio owner community plus bi-monthly business coaching calls. Offering Tree isn't just software, they are your business partner.
yeah, we don't
So
know.
as far as the actual tech that's being integrated into technology that's being integrated into reformers, from what I could gather, and again, we did not get to all of the halls. There was just too much. There's not a lot of technology that's being integrated. There's like on demand. There's like some like a screen that's there, but it's not really an integration of tech at this point. There were some other technologically super advanced things going on in other halls. There's screens that that are looking exactly at what the body is doing and is giving you real time feedback with different angles and how you should be doing this or that. Also, a lot of really interesting stuff where you're standing on different platforms and it's giving you real time, information about where your body is in its space. I thought that was interesting. Also, some interesting let's say like neural gymnastics, tracking eye movements. There was a little area for that, tracking eye movements and giving you input on what you are doing in space and how are you training your brain. That I think is a really really interesting area, not specifically though in the Pilates world. When we're looking at the rise of reformers over the last years, it used to be that you had like three or four big brands that did all they gobbled up all the market. That was who you had to order from. That is definitely not the case anymore from what I saw. I can't vouch for any of the, like we haven't tried all of this stuff, but definitely there's more brands on the market offering a pretty solid reformer. I would say not all of the dimensions felt perfect, but they were pretty darn good. And then there was a lot of really like cheap stuff too.
Yeah, I completely agree. I want to just go back again because we were talking about in our recent podcast have some expectations how AI is going to take over or maybe revolutionize the training. Like what you said before, is like you're standing in front of the screen and then you're trying to copy a person. Like you're standing behind the person, you just do exactly that what the person is doing in front of you. And actually, I thought it will be much more. It will be much more with AI, maybe with the mask or with the glasses or something on, so you can really, or maybe we missed that point, we didn't go there. But what we saw when we went into the other hall with all these online registration systems, that most of
Okay,
them
so
now
this is
have
then a
you.
different point that in the software platforms now are have a heavier AI component, and I think that offers a lot of different insights into your own business, and that was very interesting because they can analyze your, say you're reporting a little bit different. It could create different avatars on based on what the real clients that are coming into your studio. You could create websites very easily at this point. So that sort of AI component, you're right, is we saw that mostly for the software part of it.
Yeah, so yeah, that was interesting. I don't want to say that I was disappointed, but I was kind of like seeing what everyone is doing now with AI. I thought it will be much more. Maybe it's just the beginning, or maybe it's just working on things. But I thought there will be more going on in towards with equipment and with screens and with body in motion. Or maybe again maybe we missed because we didn't have the chance to see everything. Because if you spend some time talk to people and you're just running around, you're going to be there, you need 2 days basically. You have to go
Yeah.
back, and it's
Yeah.
going to be so overwhelmed. We're still kind of overwhelmed with all these impressions we had. So it
Absolutely.
was,
Absolutely.
but I would say, like, now my question to you: was it worth it going back again to the
Absolutely.
FIBO?
I mean, I'm a type of person, I don't jump onto trends. I really like to understand what's going on in the field. I love to understand a trend. I love to understand what's the deeper modality, like why is this happening? What is it answering? I do believe that from what we saw and what our own research has been, like longevity is something that we should be looking at. I don't think that in the Pilates studio space that every studio needs like cold hot therapy, all that kind of things, but thinking about what is longevity, what does that mean in your studio space, I do think that's something that everyone should be looking at, to serve our to serve our clients over a lifespan. So I think that it was totally worth it just to get inspired, and bring some new ideas into our space. What about you, Chris?
I find it always interesting now being back the second time. We had some people, they recognize us again. We remember people, they were more or less at the same spot. So that kind of going back, seeing friends, family a little bit. And I would definitely, if I would say, if you're in the sports industry, or if you have a gym or a Pilates studio or something like that, was just have a look, go there, see what's going on, be prepared for being overwhelmed. And I'm looking forward already for the 2027 FIBO to see what's going on there. And we were thinking about on the way back that we might have to go there 2 days,
Next
not
time, I
only
think we're going to
one
do
day,
2 days.
because then you can kind of get it in. You don't have to, you don't, oh, I only have this one day, I have to get in as much as you can. So you just, maybe on this one day you do this part, and then the other one, the second day you go the other one. Let's see where we're at next year, how everything is it, but that would definitely make sense to stay another day there.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yes, absolutely. Because then you get to really sit down with the founders of these different, lots of gadgets, lots of market, like lots of stuff, but you get to really talk to people and understand, have a little bit deeper conversation about what is motivating them to make this thing that they, this gadget or this invention or whatever, and how it's going to help people. We were really rushed on time, so a lot of this is just superficial impressions of the thing. So I think we can extend our trip next year um, just to get deeper in it. Something that's really a big stick out for me, though, is that something that we are talking about all the time on our podcast is I still feel that altogether our field, our Pilates field, is going to be reliant on the human element. All of these other things that we were just talking about are they're extras, they're nice to haves, they're a little bit of, in German we say schnickschnack, a little bit of stuff around it. But the essential part of teaching is that human connection and the coaching. And if you lean into that, I believe that you have a very solid, you should have a really solid business and a solid teaching career. You don't need all of this extra stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. If you once took a class with the computer on the reformer and a once with the human, it's a complete different. Of course, it depends also what you want, but I would say the majority, the connection, also working out with other people, not being by yourself, is what brings us together, was makes us stronger.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we just know that one of those pillars of health is social connection. We've done podcasts about this before. So, connecting in the classes, connecting with your trainer, connecting in the community that you are building is a recipe for a strong experience for them, and makes your classes stronger, but also your business stronger. So, I would spend a lot more time thinking about that than whatever the next um, crazy trend is.
Yes.
Yes. um, did as we're wrapping up, is there something that you um that any trend that you want to talk about that you really think that we need to be paying attention
Is that a question to me or to the audience?
to you?
To me. No, I don't think that like trends are coming, trends are going, and people, we don't decide who's going to be the trend. It's just the majority. If people jump on it, and it's like now it's the reformer, next time is CrossFit or whatever is out there, or there used to be the aerobics couple of years, many years ago. So I don't think that's something you have to pay attention to. Important is that you find something that you enjoy, a workout method that you like, that keeps you motivated, that keeps you moving. That's the most important part. And then do it maybe 1 or 2 sessions more. And then you're going to have a healthy life. And maybe also do one thing you don't like a week. So some people, for example, some people like mobility and stretching, and then you sign up for a mobility and stretching class once a week. You don't have to do it every day, and then you can do what you like to do. So you challenge yourself in a completely different way. This is what I think it's
Thank
the
you for
more
that.
important part. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say my big takeaway from the whole experience is just to continue to serve your clients in the way that you know how. Serve them with the knowledge that you have. already that you've learned, but also just continuing to learn more about the human body, about biomechanics, about all the things that lights you up, because all the information that you can learn about can help you understand how to serve your clients and your community better.
And then one last thing, and before you try one of these newer trends, don't forget to support your local Pilates studios.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, have a wonderful teaching week. We will see you next week. We're going to be diving back into a couple different themes that from teacher training. Also, we are going to be talking in the near future about aggregators. Those are a very interesting topic. So we'll get back onto that in just coming up soon. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon.